What is up, guys? It's Kyle here from Team Moon. Today we're going to give you a deck profile on my Zoodiac Chain Burn deck. Now this is a really interesting deck that I decided to throw together for this format. As you guys know, Zoo is the most rampant engine that's ever been in the game. And I figured, hey, why not throw it into probably my favorite deck in Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is Chain Burn. The reason why you play it in Chain Burn is not specifically because you want to have a giant field presence, but because when you play the Zoodiac engine, you get the main deck out to stuff like Jinzo, Royal Decree, Denko, and it also gives you the rank 4 play. And with the rank 4 play, it's a little bit different for this deck. Yes, you can go for that Dagaso Emerald play, but usually you're going to end up going for the Gaga Cowboy because you want to do that 800 burn damage per turn, which actually turns out to be pretty huge. I got second place with this deck at the OTS that was quite recently. My only loss was to Infernoid Lawn Mowing deck, which is pretty annoying. I only faced one of them in the entire day, which is probably really good for me because they have a lot of negates to stop me, which is pretty unfortunate. But other than that, it's pretty easy. This deck has a great matchup against Zoo, because all Zoo does is generate field presence, and this deck really thrives off of that. So just getting right into it, let's start off with the monsters. It's a really low monster count. It's going to be 3 Rat Pier. And that's pretty much it. You're just using this to get out your Dryden and your rank 4 pretty much. And that's it for the monsters. Spells, you run 2 Chain Strike, it's Chain Burn. You can't not run this at 2. If it was at 3, the deck could be broken, but you need 2 for now. 1 day piece, pretty staple. Just buys you a turn and it lets you draw a card and not die for a turn. 3 card Demise. Now this does conflict with the Zoodiac engine a little bit, but your deck's not based around the Zoodiac engine, so like you can definitely thrive without it. And if you do draw into a rat, it's no big deal. But like this is pretty much your backup plan and like your main play you want to go for. If you top deck it, you pretty much win every single time. 3 Potted Duality also conflicts with the Zoo engine, but in testing, it actually didn't come up very often at all that it actually needed the rat play after I activated Duality anyway, so it's really, really good to have in there for options. That's it for the spells. The rest of the deck is traps, as you'd probably assume. So you got 1 Ring of Destruction just for outing cards and burn damage. 2 Blazing Mirror Force. This is in here for... It kind of acts as like an attack negator, kind of like a Wabaku, but it also does burn damage as well, which is pretty vital for the deck to function. We have some draw traps. We have your 3 Reckless Greed. This card comes in clutch. You activate during your own standby phase, and then you generally have enough cards or advantage to out their entire field via burn damage. Next, you run 2 Accumulated Fortunes. This card can clog, and I had it taken out in my last build for Pot of Desires, but where I'm running the Zoos, I'm going to put this back in for now, and it's working pretty good so far. 2 Ojama Trios. If your opponent doesn't want to summon anything because they want to take burn damage, well then they don't really have a choice with the Ojama Trio. 3 Threatening Roars. No, 2 Threatening Roars, sorry about that. I did have this at 3, but then I took it out and replaced 1 Threatening Roar with a Wabaku because you can activate Wabaku during your own turn. If you have clogged up board space, you need more room for burn damage traps. But you generally need this just so you don't die. 3 Wabakus, like I said before. It's like a Threatening Roar that you can activate on your own turn if you need to. And it's really good with the Zoos in there because then they can't get rid of your Cowboy or your Dryden or whatever. Next you're playing 3-Dimension Wall. This card is really good. It's a magic cylinder that doesn't target and it doesn't do effect damage. They take the battle damage you would have taken, and it gets around stuff like Dark Destroyer and Kieran because it doesn't target. And just for the 1 backup, we have another Magic Cylinder. Yes, it does target, but you can't run 4-Dimension Wall, which is unfortunate. Next, you're running 2 Ceasefire. This card is actually really good in this version instead of just Desserts because you're going to have effect monsters in your field as well, where in the usual build of Chamber and you wouldn't. So when you do your play and you have your Cowboy and your Dryden on the field, that gives you an extra 1,000 burn damage from Ceasefire because it counts as your field as well. So this card got a big boost after you put the Zoodiac engine in. It was really crazy. Next is 3 Just Desserts. You need to run this in Chain Burn. It's probably your biggest damage trap. It's usually going to do 2,000 to 2,500, which adds up pretty darn quick. Next you're running 3 Secret Blast. This card is really awesome. With Twin Twister and stuff like that around and Dryden and stuff, they're going to like be popping your back row. And this just ups the damage that they're going to take. And lastly, for the main deck, we play 3 Secret Barrel. This card is really essential. It's 200 for every card on the field and in their hand. It goes without saying you need to run 3. And for the extra deck, you're going to run your Borbo, your Tiger Mortar, and your Trident. You're not going to run Longhorn or Bullhorn in this build because you don't need to search the additional Beast Warrior because you don't have any targets. And even if you put a target in, it wouldn't really matter because it goes against what your deck's trying to do in the first place. So you just run these just for the regular, the play where you just summon 1 rat and then you end with Dryden and then the rank 4. You can run 2 for like grind games and stuff, like 2 of each, but like for now, I'm just gonna run this as is because I find this is working fine. I never really end up needing 2 of each because the games are usually over by that time. And then lastly, for the extra deck, you play 1 Emerald in case you need it. If you want the 1 draw to get the extra burn spell, you can do it. Or you have your Gagaga Cowboy, which is your burn damage, which also, it's kind of like a pseudo trap because it also is inflicting 800 damage per turn, which you do twice. And it pretty much goes out twice every single time. And that equivalates to 1,600 damage, which is the same as you would expect for like any of your chainable trap cards anyway. So it's just a really new addition to the deck. It's really crazy. I like it a lot. But yeah, guys, that's it for the Chamber and Zoo deck. If you want to try it out, you can feel free to use the list to make some alterations. Cards to consider would be stuff like Maxi, Balance of Judgment, and just general stuff like that. Balance of Judgment's really clutch sometimes because you can get like a +4 off of it. It's crazy. But that's it, guys, for the deck profile. If you like it, feel free to send me a message or comment down below if you want to give me any tips or anything like that. And make sure to subscribe to the channel. It helped me a lot. And like the video as well. And a big shout outs to Team Samurai X1 for letting me do this guest upload. He's a really cool guy. Make sure you subscribe to him as well. One of the coolest guys I know. All right, thanks, guys. See you later.